Okay.
mga heavy equipment na ganda.
So that was the technical presentation of DMX. DMX is just a small portion of the kind of business we're trying to introduce in the Philippines. It's the most, kumbaga, mature technology that we have in our portfolio of technologies. When I first came back after so many years, that was about almost 2 years in the Philippines, I met Congressman Amali, represented here by Mr. Dantoco. Okay, and who are from Mindoro here? Would you kindly place your hands? So quite a number. All right. Okay, that's really good. And again, welcome. He convinced me to work with him to help the country come up with more reliable power and cheaper power, because he's the chairman of the Energy Committee of Congress. And to his credit, and the credit of my sister, is she forced him and me to meet. I almost didn't do it, but my sister is so persistent. So this is one of the good things of that, persistence. So he convinced me to work with him. And to make the story short, we have come up with a Mindoro Energy City. And that's why, if you notice here, I made this material, I made this about 2 years ago, okay? My sister has actually a copy of this in a book. So it was not difficult for me to just do this before he leaves this coming Monday. So this is this is the original plan that I kind of postponed, and I'm going to give you the reason why. So I'm trying to give you a little bit of history so you know that DMX is actually related to this project. Okay? And so please bear with me why I will give you more background information about this. Okay? So what is Mindoro Energy City? It's supposed to be a city that will purposely manufacture what we call synthetic natural gas on a large scale, because synthetic natural gas can be used as fuel for power generation. It is also a basic raw material for the production of petrochemicals, fertilizers, and other products. And we intend to do large-scale manufacturing in Mindoro for exports as well. Okay, and actually, that was about 2 years ago. And if you fast forward about 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, I found out that the congressman has already submitted a bill for the conversion of Mansalay into a free economic zone. So that's a very good news. It brings an impetus to what we're going to be doing. So I was very happy about that. The last time I talked to him last week, we discussed it, and that's probably the reason why Jerry, right? Jerry is here to represent him. Hopefully Jerry will have a good time explaining to him what he learned this afternoon. But this is related to Mindoro Energy City. Now, some of you, well, it's been what? 1.5 years. What's happening, right? It's not easy. Originally, so some of you, we had, right in this very place, we had some kind of a symposium about this. And I explained to you at that time, if you remember, that we are not bankers. We do not finance. We are engineers. We are architects. We are technology architects. If you want to build a house and you talk to an architect, an engineer, you don't get them to finance your house, right? You go to a bank. So that was very clear, I thought. But then, of course, we need financing, so the congressman and I and his staff tried to talk to so many people. He introduced me to so many, and one of the I thought was a very good prospect was Philippine National Oil Company. We're going to work with them. They have plenty of money because of the Malampaya natural gas. They get 10% of the proceeds of the sale of natural gas. And we had about 3 or 4 meetings with them, starting with the chairman, the former mayor, Mel Lopez, and his staff, vice presidents. We even had a formal congressional hearing about it. The idea was to come up with a demonstration plan. Because the moment we prove that we can produce synthetic natural gas out of recyclables and renewables, and then we feature what we call a carbon capture and carbon reutilization or reuse, then it will be easy for us to get funding from the World Bank and some other world institutions that already have hundreds of millions of dollars allocated for this kind of projects. Well, we wait, we talk, nothing happened. And of course, the congressman and I are pressured, you know, he's a politician, he made a promise to Mindoro people. And same thing with me, because I'm from Mindoro as well. I graduated from Mansalay, my high school. And so the pressure was really on us. But we cannot move. Because it needs money, and PNOC didn't turn out to be a good partner. Meanwhile, you know, I committed my company in the United States by way of doing the business here. And so for the last almost 2 years, it's all spend without even a single cent coming back to my company. And we're not a charity organization, so it's tough, even until today. We have the money, but it's not to be given away. It's supposed to be invested, and returns are expected. Fortunately, we were able to, my colleagues and I, including the general here, were able to, I'll be brief about this, we're able to come up with an agreement with the Basis Conversion Development and Conversion Authority, or BCDA, where we will supply them with clean, green, low-cost, and long-term sustainable power. We will supply their project. This is what they call Clark Green City. It is a huge project by the government through the BCDA. And we are supposed to supply them with that power. We call it socially responsible power, SRP. Again, clean, green, low cost, and long-term sustainable power. And March 11, we signed a memorandum of understanding about that. And that's supposed to lead us to an MOA, memorandum of agreement, to turn this agreement into a joint venture company. That joint venture company will be the one to supply Clark Green City with that power, or SRP. Now, it's big. It's about 400 megawatts. That's a lot of power. And that's just the starting point. But it is actually very small compared to Mindoro Energy City. So this becomes now our ipso facto demo for Mindoro Energy City. Okay? And even better is that, you see, we are supposed to come up with a business plan within 90 days from the date that we signed the MOU. And that business plan is supposed to will actually be evaluated by the IFC, International Finance Corporation, which is an arm of the World Bank. So that's really good because through BCDA, they will get to have an introduction of the Mindoro Energy City. I don't have to look for contacts, who to talk to the World Bank, because they will be the one to evaluate what is effectively a demo for Mindoro Energy City. Now, to give you an idea, the deal with BCDA is 400 megawatts. While the purposely large-scale SMG production in Mindoro will require 10,000 megawatts. Okay, so that 400 compared to 10,000 becomes a demo for the 10,000. So that's the relationship. Okay, so meanwhile, to the ordinary folks in Mindoro, 10,000, you're dreaming. What we need here is, how to fix our brownout. Meron pa bang brownout pa rin every day? Okay.
Power has become more stable lately.
Oh.
Except that during, siguro the past month, in fairness to our congressman, he has really exerted a lot of effort to stabilize the supply of power in Oriental Mindoro. Mainly because of the presence of DMCI, which supplies 15 megawatt of power to not only to Oriental but also to Occidental. Except that during the last few weeks, yung maintenance schedule nila, preventive maintenance, they had to stop the supply for quite a number of days. Pero ngayon okay na rin, back to normal.
Very good, that's very good news. Okay. But let me just make my point, and I'm very glad to hear that. My point earlier was, you're talking about 10,000 megawatts, and here you're going to even, supply us with some backup,
Yeah.
okay? So that at least we alleviate the power situation in the Roman Bulbe, Rojas, Mansalay, and Bulalakaw. So actually, during the time that I was helping the congressman come up with this emergency supply, that was last year, I actually made an offer to him. Somebody made an offer to me of 20 megawatts that they're not using. And they said, well, we're not using this, so if you want, you can use this. So I talked to the congressman about it. And somehow, he didn't pay attention to it. Now, I'm not blaming him, okay? I'll be recording, because even if you're recording, you can show it to him, it's okay. Because at that time, he was telling me, well, we're concentrating on the national. And perhaps institutionally, it was not possible because the emergency power is only for basically Luzon, okay? So it's not really his fault. Of course, the 25 megawatts didn't last very long. So there was again another offer, and the last offer, I spoke to the mayor. But sabi ko sa kanya, huwag namang ako ang pupunta sa Mindoro para kausapin ng Ormeco kasi really, if you talk to Jerry who lives with me in my apartment, he knows I hardly sleep. And so, sabi ko, kaya lang, I don't know, siguro because of that good news nga, hindi na bumalik si Mayor. But we decided to put that at Poro Point. Okay, so we're gonna do the demo at Poro Point. We have already received notice that our MOA with Poro Point is already approved. So we're gonna do the demo in Poro. Now, I'm saying this, hindi para banatan si Mayor sa public. No. This is not my point. No? My point is, after we do this, siguro naman, mas madali nang kausapin ng Ormeco na, totoo. Kasi mahirap paniwalaan yung, nagbibigay ka ng libreng electricity di ba? Mahirap paniwalaan, di ba? We will do this at Poro Point. Okay? Ang hinihingi ko lang noon, sa Mansalay leadership, was, kausapin nyo yung Ormeco such that pag may brownout, saka lang gagamitin yung power. Pero huwag naman singilin ng tinatawag na willing charge. Yun lang naman yun. Pero ganun pa man, mahirap paniwala na nagbibigay ka ng libreng electricity. Huwag gagawin namin yun. Okay? So, kausap namin ang BCDA dito. No? This is not parang hindi naman kami politician. So, this is real. So, after we do this, we would like to go back to you. Hopefully, kapanipaniwala na kami at that time. But again, nagbibigyan ako ng introduction. Wala, nakikita nyo, hindi pa nag-change yan. No? The reason why I ask my friends, like Ceres
Sa labas kaya, sa
and
labas.
Greg, these are the students of my parents. Okay, so, nauna lang sila ng ilang taon, dalawa. Yeah. And they are now some of the leaders in Mansalay. Okay? So, I actually need their assistance. No? Kasi ang gusto kong ipakita, gagamit na kami ngayon ng patatagbihin namin yung diesel engines, no? To do the generation. But instead of using diesel, I'd like to use biomass. Mas mura siya, ganyan. Pero, may konting issue dyan. No? Kasi kulang yung biomass na yan. At the same time, hindi masyadong, shall we say, consistent quality. So, para maging consistent quality siya, okay? Now, remember medyo matagal ako because this, no? Because Mindoro. I would like to do it's a charcoal in biomass. Now, I know charcoal is bawal yata, di ba? Pero bawal kung puputulin mo yung kahoy. Pero kung sarili mong kahoy, hindi naman siguro. I mean, we will work with this with the DNR, alright? But what I have in mind is to work with the local communities, including the Mangyans, who have the traditional charcoalization technology. And it's charcoalized yung mga trees na ano tawag to? That Englishin ko na lang kasi bumabalot ko siya na matagal na Tagalog ko eh. We will do tree planting, large scale. And perhaps we can also get some initial funding for that. We actually have a company with whom we are kilala din ni Congressman, no? That can do tree planting and so on. But the nice thing about charcoalization is we can charcoalize, we can make charcoal. Hindi lang dun sa puno, but including the leaves, the twigs, maliliit, lahat-lahat na. So lahat yun. So maximize natin. Ganyan. And then of course, ayaw natin makita yung uso, charcoal, we can fix that. Okay? So walang makakita na nagka-charcoal pala yung mga kapatid nating Mangyan dun sa bundok. Ganyan. And we can give them more income. Okay? And then we will use that initially as our source of fuel. And it will be cheaper than the diesel. And so, just imagine that we have a mini power plant running on charcoal, but the kind of charcoal that we will reformulate. Hindi lang ordinary charcoal yan. No? And so we don't need to use diesel. Ganyan. And even for that, when we demonstrate this, okay, we can actually convert all your diesel power plants in Mindoro to run on the DMX charcoal. We call it DMX because it's reformulated. We will not call it charcoal. No? I'm just disclosing to you that it's basically charcoal, but it's not an ordinary charcoal. It will be proprietary, and we would like to produce this in Mindoro. Hopefully, part of the electricity that we can produce will be given to Mindoro in a way that will reduce the overall cost. So for example, right now, I think you're paying something like 10 pesos per kilowatt hour.
11 to 12.
Well, what about if we can do 7 or 6 or even less? Diba?
11 to 12 depending on the process.
Okay? We can really reduce that significantly. And we can use it as a model for the entire country. Okay? So the general knows about what we're doing. I'm just giving you a teeny tiny bit of information, but the one that's relevant to Mindoro. And we'll discuss that in more detail. Okay? So that's the relationship to this. So we're not just doing this because we want to sell DMX. Okay? Hindi lang para kumita ng pera, no? It would be nice if some of you become dealers or become distributors, fine. But frankly speaking, even if nobody does it, we're okay. But it would be nice, you know, if we can become dealer or distributors, you make money, we make money, but it will also accelerate this project. Okay? So you get an overview. Okay? So this is not an isolated business. Okay? Also, as you already pointed out, DMX, this logo is at least 15 years old. This is not something that we concocted yesterday. This is a proven technology the world over. Okay? So before I proceed, any question? Because now I'm going to the main thing now. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's quite interesting to hear from you the word tranquilization. And I was just thinking whether this would be added to the denuded indoor forest, or which will come first, the reforestation or the cutting of the trees?
What we will do is to start with what is there already. Of course, when we start that, we will also start actually the reforestation will be done by another company. We will talk to them. We actually have started negotiations with them already. Okay.
So what will be the source of this tranquilization? The old trees, the existing trees?
From what I understand, first of all, we will not use existing trees, okay, of the forest.
Oh, yeah.
Of the forest. But if there are people who already have equilibrium that they own, we will work. That's why I don't know the exact answer yet. I'll find out later on from Greg and from Ceres. Okay. But I'm against cutting the trees that's right there already. Now, if there are dead trees, there are trees that are so big and they're starting to die, or you have to clean them. Or we can also use palay. Palay.
Yes.
Yeah, we can do that. Okay.
Dyan.
Any biomass for that matter. Okay. But I am personally against cutting existing trees that are there already. Now, you're right.